Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. With the grace of Almighty Allah, it is my greatest pleasure to welcome all of you to join for the Postgraduate Enhancement Workshop, organized by Awang Salleh, Graduate School of Arts and Science in collaboration with a School of Quantitative Sciences. First of all, I would like to welcome participants and postgraduate students from University of Utara Malaysia, Adamas University India, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, SQS, other local and international university and institution. Welcome to this workshop. So this workshop aims to provide the support and academic development of the postgraduate student in preparing themselves throughout this period of postgraduate studies, especially for the research program. So we will start the workshop in another 2:35. Just bear with us. Okay, thank you everyone for coming for this postgraduate enhancement workshop, where we'll be hearing about preparing effective Viva slide and presentation. So my name is Mohd Aamir Adeeb bin Abdul Rahim. I'm from doctor from the School of Quantitative Sciences, SQS, University Utara Malaysia. So let's begin the workshops. So if you have any question during the workshop, please just put your message into the chat box, and then I will try to address your concern or your comment or any of your questions. So what we will learn on this in the workshop. So first, we will be learning on how to create an effective Viva slide, and then how to deliver a great presentation during your Viva session. So for all PhD student or postgraduate or master by research, you have spent a lot of time for your research, and now this is the most important event during your research period. So you need to know how to create an effective the Viva slide, and finally to deliver great presentation. Sometimes when you have submitted your thesis, it might not really great, but when you have delivered a great presentation, the opinion from the examiner might change. So what is Viva session? So Viva session is the final session. Once you have did your research and you have developed and write your thesis, and you have sent the thesis for examination. So the final session is the Viva session, where you will be presenting your research to the examiners. Okay, what will happen during this Viva session? So what are the most important things that you need to keep in mind? The first thing is you will present the research finding. These are the most important thing. And the second thing, you need to focus on the most relevant information of each chapter. So you cannot put everything into your slide, because you will only be given 20 minutes for presentation. So if you take 20 minutes, you can actually cover at optimum like one slide per minute. So 20 slides is the most recommended slide for your presentation. Sometimes people can make it lesser, but it depends on the presenter itself. And then you need to have a visually appealing slide. And you need to keep in mind that your Viva session are only 20 minutes for your presentation, and it might take 2 or 4 hours for your cross examinations. So what do you need to prepare? So during the Viva session, you need to check your institution policies and practice. So some school might differ, but for this UEM, do check in Awang Salleh. And then once you have submit the thesis, so the second thing, please reread your thesis after submission until the Viva. And then the third thing, please bring your printed copies that is the same with your examiners. Few candidates have made mistake when they submit the thesis for examination. They have changed several things in the thesis, which make the page different. So you don't have the same copies with the examiner. This causes an issue during the Viva session. So make sure you bring the file, the thesis that you have submitted for the examination, not the one that you have changed. So bring that one. And then dress well and have a professional attitude. So if you dress well, you will have confidence to deal with the examiners. And then rehearse, and keep track of your time, because you will only be given 20 minutes. some chairperson would stop you at the 20 minutes. So imagine if you are still talking about your finding, or some of these candidates put too many slides and they're stuck in the literature review. So rehearse and keep track of time. This is the most important thing. And then prepare some icebreaker and then go off for a good station, good start. So do a light check with the examiners, and then don't point out your own weaknesses during the presentation. So during the presentation, sometimes you felt that some of the ideas that you have brought out, if you put and write in the thesis, are not that good. But unless the examiner asks about that weaknesses, don't point out that weaknesses. Instead, focus on what you have contributed. So because you have spent so much time, 4 years, 3 years or more, much more for your research, focus on your contribution and then prepare for possible questions from the examiners. So you are the expert for your own research. So you know what are the areas that are weakness, what are areas that can intrigue other examiners or the readers. So you need to prepare the possible question, and then do expect the Viva to last between 2 or 4 hours. Some of the examiner might be harsh, and that itself, so you need to be prepared mentally. And then finally, be ready and enjoy the process, because you have spent so much time. This is a final session. Might as well be ready and enjoy. All right, let's go to start. What are the workshop is all about? This is about creating an effective presentation slide and to deliver a great presentations. So in this for the Viva session, so for the presentation you must have a story. So the story in this your thesis or research start from the introduction, where you be introducing your research through an overview or background. So you can start, for me, I like to start from the big picture until the down. What's the issue on the background itself? And then the second thing is you need to establish your ground. So what is the research problem? What are the research questions that emerge, and what are the research objectives that you try to address? Uh, because we have such a limited time, 20 minutes, to include only the literature review if that is really necessary, because uh, we all know that literature review is the one of the important within the thesis, but it's too lengthy and you cannot cover that within the 20 minutes. So the third thing is the methodology. So for social science, you need to address the underpinning theories, your proposed framework, and what are the research flow, are the steps that you have taken until that you can analyze and conclude your research. And then the fourth thing is the finding and discussion. For this one, present only the novelties and the important finding that you have found from your research. And then finally, this is where you will be conclude and perhaps give some recommendation within the implication of studies, and then finally give some suggestion for the future research. So for the first one, please have a title slide. This slide, the title one, you put your title of research, and then your name, your ID, your department and supervisor, and also include the date for your Viva session. So for any good presentation, you need to have an outline. All right. So for good presentation, you need to have an outline. But I myself as a researcher, we have too many things to share. So sometimes we tend to share everything from the background, the research question, the objective research question, research objective, until everything. We want to share everything. But sadly, we only given 20 minutes. So how can we benefit the 20 minutes? So we need to know what are we trying to present to give the optimum impact to the readers, for them to have a great confidence on what have we done. So instead of putting everything, what I been suggesting is you only tell several things, such as the background of the study, the problem statement, and what are the research gaps that you have found, and then the research question and the research objective. And then the fourth thing, this is where one of the important thing, the findings. What are your novelties and contribution? And then the fifth thing is the conclusion, the implication of studies and future works. So finally, please also tell what are the publications that you have published, and then where have you published this one. This can act a good merit to the examiners. So they saw that, oh, these researchers have published their output in the journal, where that journal have been peer reviewed and acknowledged. So other researchers also acknowledge your own research. So please optimize what are the things that you would like to present to the examiners. So at the beginning, the first one is you must always remember that the first impression could be your last impression. So you have submitted your thesis to examiner, right? So the examiner has read your thesis. Some of the things, there might be some issue on your writing, but this is where you can change the examiner point of view. So you need to deliver. These are crucial. You need to deliver a great start at the very beginning. So in the first one is that you need to address this point. What are the background and overview of research, and what were some motivating factors behind your research, and then what kind of ideas that ties your thesis together, and then what are the key issues and debates on this topic. So this is briefly the ideas that you want to put into your slide. So never did something like this, because if you did something like this, you will be reading. This is not a paragraph point. This is PowerPoint. So please put only important point. So because if you put something like this, people like, okay, what are you trying to present? And people couldn't understand what you are trying to present itself. So instead, put into you break the ideas into small things. The maximum that you can put for presentation for the best experience is only 6 points. And then the 6 point, use a bigger fonts, such as 16 and above. So for the background, please start from the bigger picture and then narrow it down to a smaller picture. So from this one, these are one of the example where it emphasizes on the bigger picture, and then it addresses down to what are the problem in this research itself. So, and then from the problem, it drill down. You can put a chart. What are the main issues within the background? Okay. Or alternatively, you can use a picture. for you to describe what are the background and what are the motivation behind your research, because picture itself tell thousand stories. So from the picture, sometimes the reader itself, the viewer, when he saw the picture, oh, okay, I understood the idea that you are trying to bring into the context, the research context, and then you use like this one, you use a chart, uh, a smart art to illustrate what are the story behind the bigger picture until the end the issue within itself. All right, or you can use a chart and relate it with the main article that you have found during your literature review. You found this article is the one that most likely close to me, close to my heart. So this way you relate with the practical problem and the academic problem. So you can start your stories like this for the background. And then from this academic, you can drill down what are the issues within the story. And then from this one, you can then follow up. What are the research problem? What are the gap? What the theoretical gap? And then what can we develop a framework? Can we improve it, or do we need to develop a new one? All right. These are the second thing, the groundbreaking. So the research problem, question, and objective. So we have covered the first thing, the background and overview. So from your background and overview, now you need to address research problem, question, and objective. So the first idea for your presentation, so you need to put this idea. How did your research question emerge? And then relate with the research question and research objective clearly. Put it clearly. Don't put it too lengthy. And then what are the theoretical, practical that could be found from the literature reviews and innovation? And then what are the theories that have been drawn from this research? Okay, these are example. So from this, the background itself, we have know that from the bigger picture, we have narrow it down to the small issues. So, and then try to relate what are the gaps between inside of the problem itself. Or you can do something like this, where you can scrutinize it down to the small issue. So in this slide, you could saw the clearly. The previous one put it the bullet point, but this one put it in the table form. So the main problem, and then what are the sub problem within itself, and what are the issues. And then this one actually relate back to the knowledge of theoretical gaps. And then these are the other things. So instead of the first one, the first slide that we have saw, where the slide put all the gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, gap 4. And then this one show the contextual, industrial, and practical issues, similar with the previous one, where this address the main problem and then follow up what are the issues inside of this research. Okay, so I've told that we start from the bigger picture. For the research problem, you can follow the same approach when you want to deliver your presentation. So in this one, start to talk about the content type, and then the knowledge type, and the analysis level. So you must always, when you you want to deliver a slide of presentation, the stories must be coherent. Yeah, that's the trick for a great presentation. So you cannot jump A to B to C. You need to have a storyline. So this slide have tell that, okay, I would like to talk about content type and then knowledge type and analysis level. These are the flow chart. And then you can practically follow what are the theme, the content type theoretical, what the issue within itself. And similarly, you can put something like this. What are the flow of your knowledge type? These are the research problem. So, and then this is one of example that I found where they put the research question and the research objective together. So most of the students that I found put it after research question first, they put without the research objective. So once you, if you did something like this, it will be really easy for the viewer to understand, and you yourself could easily pinpoint what why are these do this. So you can follow some of these this example to put in your PowerPoint slide. All right, after that, so remember that we have talked that we only have 20 minutes for presentations. So, and we already know that our literature review sometimes cover the major portion of our thesis. So it's really difficult to put the lead review into the slide. So, but if you really want to put, so remember three things. So what shaped or guided your literature review, and why it covered the areas that it did. And then you, if you want to create this PowerPoint slide for this, which include the literature review, you only include the important papers that are mostly related with your thesis. Sometimes it can be a core article from back like 1970s, the main theory that you use. But sometimes it can be an article that serve the news article that serve the practical issues within your research itself. So this is one of the example. So in here, this researcher would like to present about this financial risk and business risk into a firm value. So he can clearly tell to the examiners or the viewer why these are chosen. So you can use something similar. You can put the article that you most refer with into something like this, and then you can put what are the highlight, what are the output that you have found from the literature itself. And then certainly from the literature review, you can do something like this one. So this slide have tell, okay, these variable are mostly related with this article. You can make your story. You can tell, you can deliver your presentation according to your style. And then you can follow up with what are the research framework that have been constructed from the literature review. Okay, or you can do something like this. If you did a SLR, systematic literature review, or a bibliometric review, you might most likely you will have an output from the review. For the SLR, if you did a SLR, you can understand the evolution of your research. So this is a great slide if you want to tell why you did this, why you choose certain theories following from the publication over the year, which show what are the main articles that spark the research domain itself. And then you can put some of the highlight. So you don't need to put everything. Pick and choose what you want to deliver to this your viewer. So for the next thing, this one of the important thing is the methodology. So in here, you need to tell why did you employ this method compared to others. So once you are telling, okay, I've choose method A. Why? Justify this during presentation. Why? Because once you have justified this during presentation, most likely examiner has, oh, I've understood why you choose the method A. And then he will not ask this kind of question during your cross-examination. And then describe how did the research was done. Describe the research flow. Don't go like this. You have described your research framework, and then suddenly you just jump into the finding, where you have tell what have been what's the finding from your research, while you actually are using several methods, such as you have undergo focus groups, and then you have deliver your questionnaire to several people. So you need to tell what are the research flow that charted your research, and then please do tell, how did you establish the scope and limitation around your data collection? Why you choose certain respondent? Put that into your slides. So these are one of the example on the research approach by stage. So from instead of using words, you can use like this one, a fish bone map. So you can use this one to tell what are the approach that you have taken in doing your research. And then if you, okay, one of the thing that have you written in your thesis is what are the process flow of your chapter. If you could put something like this, where you have tell, okay, in chapter 2 I've produced an output such as an R, and then what are the conference paper that I've published. This you can easily tell what have you done to the viewer and the researcher or your examiners. All right, and also in the methodology, if you have developed a framework, show it, put a really sharp image into your slide, and then highlight why your framework was developed. What because your framework most likely are developed based on limitation or some of the gap from the literature itself. So you need to correlate the limitation and also why you want to develop this kind of framework. So if you have developed a system, show the process flow of your system. Don't just show your UI, the user interface. Show your the process flow, the process flow from your system. So for an expert, for the people in the field, they will understand, okay, this why the UI or the UE is UX like this. So for computer science, this one is really important for you to show, compared to you to show just the user interface. Because if you already just show the user interface, it might not serve a purpose, because people just say, oh, okay, this is the user interface for the software. But if you can show some of the flow for your system, it will be really great, because you can now tell the story of your system in one slide. Okay, and also if you have developed a research framework, do put it into the slide. Put a really big framework and really clear for people to see. And then please put what is your independent variable, moderating variable, and dependent variable. Perhaps use different colors to show why are these independent variable, why are these moderating variable and dependent variable. Okay. Okay, now we are going to the most exciting part where you want to show to your examiners and your viewer. This this actually this actually the most important thing in your presentation. So the examiner actually waiting to see what are your key findings that you have found in your research. So by this moment, actually, the first the background and then your research question, research objective. By this moment, you need to have another at least another 12 minutes because you need time to tell what are your key findings. You need time to tell why are these findings are as it is. And then in this key finding, so in the slide, you need to tell how did you analyze your data? What are the methods that have you used to analyze your data? And then what are the main findings? What are the novelties that you have found that you've contributed? And what are the findings that is surprised you? It's not according what you expected, but that can be a fall for you. But that's why you need to play around. So if the main finding show that your weaknesses, you have weaknesses in your research, please keep it low. Don't show too much about your weaknesses of your thesis when you want to present to people, because the idea of presentation is to make people confident, not to show your weaknesses. So focus on what have you contributed, and then tell tell how does your result relate with the literature. Don't just show the result, relate it. How are you going to relate it? So just put your result, and then perhaps you use some of these uh, chart to relate it with the literatures. And then what is the novelties or new findings that are important and interesting? These are the one that people are excited, that the people are eager to hear. What are the novelty have you have developed? And then also once you have show all your findings, you need to put something. Perhaps you have done statistical analysis, because here people want to know, are your results are accurate? So these are important. If you have a statistical analysis, do put it into the slide. If you have done a hypothesis, put it in the slide. All right. So these are, if you are doing some of the slide, put a breaker, the section breaker. This is where I will start to talk seriously. These are the one that I want to really show to you, the findings. So if you have done some hypothesis, tables such as this is really it's really interesting, because for the reviewer or examiner, people can see, oh, okay, for hypothesis one, please use color to show, okay, these are accepted, these are rejected. So you can easily pinpoint, okay, the green color show the accepted, okay, something like that. And then put a short remarks. Why are these are such as like this one? So you don't need to have a really lengthy remark, just enough for you to remember it, to tell to this viewer, because you are your own expert of your research. All right. Okay. Some of the findings perhaps are an output from your research, whereby in here this is a development of a new method with you have integrate some of assessment. Okay, you can put something in this into your into your finding if this is not suitable to be put into the methodology. Right, these are okay. If you have a really result, and then you cannot put it in into a small part, so you can use colors to show, to pinpoint during your presentation, some such as this one. So this color represents something. When you want to tell to the viewer, you can easily pinpoint. So use color for your own advantages. So you can use it. All right, or you can use a color on the font itself, such as this one, just to show what are the key things that you like to show. And then thank you for the comment. Some of the chart, if you compress it into the slide, every chart you want to put into one slide, this might result into small font and people couldn't see it. So for this one, because we are mostly doing an online Viva session, so it's quite easy. But if you're doing in big hall, sometimes the small font you cannot read it at all. So please use bigger fonts when you want to show your chart. So if you have have a survey or something, put that result into your findings also. Okay. On the final thing, these are the so you have start with a great background, great motivation. So these are the final thing. So in the final thing, you need to address what can be concluded from your research, and then what is your core research achievement, what have you achieved, and then do ask yourself, so what you already have done your research, so what is the key recommendation application? These are the one that the viewer are excited to hear. And what is the key recommendation implications, and then which aspect of the work can be taken further as a future work, and why. So you need to have this kind of thinking when you are designing your slide. All right, so let us, okay, never did something like this. So if you did something like this, the viewer, the examiner staff know that you haven't put so much effort into your presentation. Actually, you are not that serious, because if you are serious, you know that you only put several points, and then if you did something like this again and again and again, no one will benefit from your presentation. So never put a paragraph into a PowerPoint. Put a bullet point. That is the most important output that you need to have from this workshop. So never use small font paragraph in the PowerPoint. Use bullets, chart, or images to show the output for your presentations. All right, you can also have instead of something like that, so you can, what I have said is that from the paragraph, now you put into bullets, and then use certain color to highlight the finding. Okay. Like I have mentioned, okay, you can use images, and then the few of the important point into the conclusions, because the images, what we have known is that the image itself carries several thousand stories. Okay, after you have did your conclusion, follow it through with recommendations. So you chart or something, to show the recommendation that you have that you can propose from your research. And then this is the implication of studies. It's really benefit, and the examiner will really love it if you put something like this. What are the implications of the studies? If you put something like this into your presentation, people will really love it. People, because now we can have some outtakes, some ideas. What are the implications of studies? So don't stop up until conclusion. Follow it through. What are the implications of the studies? And also, please do include some of the recommendation. What are the recommendation that you can use, or what are the future work that you can develop? And also, you can also show your contribution that you have give from your research. All right, that's all. Good luck. Thank you. Do any of the floor have some? Okay, so we have a few questions. Let's us address some few questions from the slide, from the chat box. Can I have a slide presentation on my email? Okay, after this, I will give this slide to Awang Salleh, and then perhaps they can distribute this to these postgraduate student. Roughly how many slides in numbers needed for 20 minutes presentation without After Effects? So if you have 20 minutes, basically you can only cover, like, let's be realistic, you can only cover one slide 1 minute. So don't put more than 20 minutes, 20 slides. Dr. Adeeb, from Nadia, Dr. Adeeb, I've noticed that some of the flowchart that you've shown just now under methodology are text heavy. How do we strike a balance of content and sufficiency? Because this depend on, it's a bit tricky, because you yourself know the output for your research. Sometimes you cannot do justice to your output if you just put a flowchart. So that's why you need to put some text. And how do we strike a balance of contents and simplicity? Okay, this is really great question, because it's really difficult to strike the balance of content. What I can recommend that you try your best to create your slide first, that the first one, and then try to rehearse with that slide. Can you deliver your content perfectly? Okay, if you cannot deliver it, just revise, and rehearse. That's how you strike the balance. Right. The same pattern of slides work for qualitative research Viva. I cannot really answer about this qualitative research Viva because I haven't gone through this. But the same story, the same pattern can work, because you start from the introduction, and then you follow up with the methodology, and then if your methodology is qualitative, you need to perhaps have a research flow. What are the flow that you have taken to gain your analysis, and then up until the analysis and conclusion is the same thing. So for qualitative researcher, I think the one that would differ so much is your methodology slide, but still you need to try to to optimize it down to 20 minutes. That's the key thing, because I've seen some of the uh, presentation go heavy because the researcher, the students are still talking about methodology on 20 minutes. So they just cut off. We don't want to hear. So that's going to be a problem for you, because you cannot show everything. So you need to rehearse and then put the slide within the 20 minutes. Hi, doctor. Which one? Is still face-to-face or online in the following PD or Viva presentation? I'm not sure about this. You need to check with your school. Right? Is animation recommended? You can use animation, but not too heavy. For me, because the idea of your Viva boss presentation is not to see the animation, it's to see the content. So if you put too heavy animation, it might take your time. Even 5 second, 10-second animation will throw you off. What is the most part for the proposal defined problem statement and methodology? Do we need to state the finding of the pilot study during the proposal define? Okay. So this one you need to discuss on with your supervisor, because what for me, I like for the candidate to present before you present, to have your finding on the pilot study, because the point of proposal defense is for the examiner to give an output for you. So if you already have the pilot study, so if we address some critical issue on your framework, what's your pilot study might go waste, because you need to make perhaps you need to do a substantial change. So if you do your pilot study before your proposal defense, it might cause an issue to you. So you need to discuss it back with your supervisor. I think that's all. All right. So any other question? So if there are no other question, let's we take some picture first. Can everyone open your camera? If you have some question, you can come to my office 4013 @SQS, or you can email me at aamir@uum.edu.my. Dear doctor, how to break the ice and have a good beginning. So you need to be relaxed. Don't tense up. Jangan stress. So perhaps go to Changlun, buy some Starbucks before you go to your Viva session. So relax yourself. Okay, let's we take some picture first. Okay, one. I'm going to go through from first page to second page. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. So just okay. Okay, that's all. So can Awang Salleh share the QR code if you have take all the picture? Okay, that's I have put this my email in this chat box. So if you have any question, feel free just to email me, or you can go to my room at 413 at SQS. Okay, that's all, and have a really great evening. Okay, to all participants, please, if you want to, you can fill some of the survey. Okay, thank you very much.
Give me a playback link, please.